Good morning, YouTube. It is Sunday, July 30th, 2023, and you are tuning into my channel. If you're tuning into my channel, then you know that my channel is about health and wellness. You should also know that I'm on a weight loss journey that is going successful. It's going well. It's more successful than I ever thought. I hope it's not blood. I just spent yesterday in the hospital with my daughter because my cat went a little crazy. But overall, it was a really good day. And I woke up this morning feeling kind of satisfied, feeling like I had gotten something done, and feeling relieved that there were medical professionals that were there to help address my issues. But at the same time, being overall mostly just overwhelmed with satisfaction and happiness and a sense of accomplishment that I have lost 20 pounds, I think. 20 pounds of fat, stubborn, built up fat, and I've done it without driving myself insane. And I think that's going to be the point of this video. Is that anytime I think that we want to make significant changes in our lives, and something as significant as eating, changing your diet, changing your physical routine, changing different aspects, getting rid of negative habits and behaviors that you don't recognize yourself, but those negative attitudes and behaviors that can cause you to gain weight, that can cause you to abuse substances, that can cause you to develop an addiction, whether that be food, drugs, alcohol, any type of behavior that becomes codependent in order to receive gratification. And that's all this is. That's all any type of problem is to me in your life, is that you develop a habit or a negative dependency on an action or behavior that is just not rewarding you in the most positive ways. And for me, the reward has got to be something substantial. It has got to be enough to keep you motivated. It's got to be enough to keep you going. And it has to be enough to help you recognize those changes in your behavior. How you move, how you think, how you act, in order for you to accomplish a goal or reach a certain level of health and fitness, holistic health, spiritual health, mental health, whatever type of health, to help heal your family, to help heal anything that's going on in your life that you're not satisfied with. And you have to determine what that is. And even if you have to determine that it's not you that you're happy with. And I don't mean that in a malicious way, or a maladaptive way. I mean that in a way that you are engaging in behaviors that's causing you to feel bad about yourself. It's causing you to feel bad about yourself. It's causing you stress, anger, anxiety, and there are ways to find out or to change those behaviors. But I'd like to talk about something else that a lot of people kind of are afraid of to talk about, the mind-body connection. So we rely on society so much to tell us what to eat and how to live. All types of visual aids in television and in magazines and newspapers that set a standard for how we should live. And we work every day to achieve those standards and to acquire those things. And so we know that if we are able-bodied, we can do those things. But the challenge is, I think, is to become able-minded to achieve those things and enjoy them at a reasonable level within the bounds of reality. Not oh, I want to have this for that, and I don't want to talk about rich people. And I think what I am talking about is wealth. The parents that raised me, they were not a wealthy people. Um, they were homeowners. They had 2 cars. They lived a middle class life, and I mean middle class. That means saving money for retirement. That means providing for their final expenses. That means giving their children a good life and leaving them with enough time and opportunity to take care of themselves and their children during their time of grief. You know, that's what final expenses is about. It's about relieving your family of any type of burden, of a financial burden or a spiritual burden, while they're taking care of laying their loved ones to rest. A lot of people look to life insurance policies for all different types of reasons. And the specific thing for my family was that, you know, they did not want to leave an undue burden on their children because they had lived good lives. They loved one another. They raised us. They raised us well within the bounds of their understanding and their capabilities, and they didn't do too bad. I don't think they did too bad. And I miss them like crazy, because I'm talking about a lot of fun times, a lot of happy times, a lot of disappointments, a lot of sadness, a lot of scary moments. And one of the things that really saved us while I was growing up was that my mother and father lived within their means. They lived within their means. They prayed for what was in their means and what was in their capabilities. Not everybody wants to be super rich and living on a yacht somewhere. And me, along with my mother and other people who have reasonable sense, knows that those are circumstantial situations. We weren't born into it. We weren't simply. And those just weren't. Some people have very simple ideologies for themselves, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that if a lot of us come to those realistic terms within our lives, you know, I really don't want this much or that much. And that's not to say you're going to deprive yourself of anything, but you want to do what's capable of in here, and that's what's important. And that's why, you know, that's what's important, is doing what you are capable of in here within the means and of your understanding. Not the understanding of what somebody else says it should be, or somebody else not somebody else's expectations, but what you are capable of. Do you have the creativity to be an actor? Do you have the knowledge and the stance to be a scientist or an engineer, or a machinist, or, I mean, the world is filled with possibilities, and people, I think the more that you hear about, I think the more that you hear and you know about individuals who are living their lives according to their own standards, no matter how big and small, to the cashier in the retail store, your favorite retail store. She's there for a purpose, or he's there for a purpose. That's, you know, to exchange commerce. And a lot of people do not think about life like that. They don't understand that there is time and effort in individuals to do the jobs, you know, that they're hired for. And some of them like it. I mean, I think the worst thing that somebody could be told is, you know, asked is that, you know, do you like where you are? And I think a lot of people are disappointed when they realize that this is what somebody wants in their life, you know, and they don't understand why somebody would want to live at a certain standard. And it's not for other people to understand, it's for you to understand. It's for you to understand about yourself. And that's one thing and once you understand certain things about yourself, you can begin to live by a certain standard, or you can begin to accomplish things by a certain standard. And I learned that this morning about myself after, you know, because when you gain the success, when you're committed to a certain task, and you set realistic expectations for yourself, and you achieve those goals, those short-term goals, but you recognize, and you're saying, and now, because I basically, when I started on my journey for health and wellness, I set a realistic short-term goal for myself in the span of 30 days. If I cannot lose 5 to 10 pounds within the span of 30 days, then I would have to change my life drastically. I mean, that means like totally upheaving myself and introducing a diet that I did not recognize. And I knew that it would be stressful and anxiety causing. I mean, I have a lot going on in my life. But I knew that I had the tools. I knew that I had the tools from when I was younger. I was an athlete. I was a cheerleader. I was a softball player. I was a tennis player. I was involved in a great deal of extracurricular activities. And so I had a fitness regimen. I had an exercise regimen. But one thing that I don't have now is that competition, that arena. I think as an athlete, when you are engaged in competition, you use more of your body's physical capabilities, like in a short span of time, like in the span of an hour or 2 hours or 4 hours if you're a basketball player. So I think you all see where I'm going with this. I mean, you train, and you train that whole time to get to that one game. And see, as athletes go, how many games do you have in a season? Probably 12. 12 big games against players who train just like you, who are devoted themselves to winning just like you, and devoted themselves to success, and the success of achieving the strongest physique so that they can accomplish that physical task in order to win a prize, a trophy, a medal, money, things like that. And so I had those tools, and I used those tools, and I began to exercise and eat as if, I don't compete anymore. So I began to live my life, and I began to train as if I'm still competing. And I gave myself to compete in my first game, and I won my first game. And I knew that if I could not lose that 5 to 10 pounds within 30 days, then that would be a challenge for me. Then I would experience a disappointment, and then I would have to overhaul everything. But I had to remember those tools that I used to, the tools and behaviors that I had when I was younger. And that was definitely my diet. And that diet was not filled with candy and cakes and pastries. That diet was filled with high carbs, proteins, fibers, fats, things that drove my metabolism, things that fed my muscles and allowed me to move and allowed me to be agile, stretching, doing the exercises and the movements that were required of me to become a winner, as an athlete. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my extracurricular activities. But now that I'm not competing, what am I going to do to for the big game? And the big game is just for me to compete and to be able to lose that weight. But and I'm going to admit something so ambitious on here, but I would like to do a Ironman triathlon. I grew up watching Ironman and watching men and women compete in some of the most beautiful arenas: Hawaii, Spain, the countryside of Europe, and just pushing themselves and using their agility and their strength and their endurance in order to receive a prize, to be first. I mean, yes, you get monetary endorsements, and you have monetary prizes, and that's even the big thing. But to be able to compete with all of the other gladiators in the Pantheon, and the Parthenon, is just, I want that. I mean, that has been a desire within me. I know I had always been an avid runner, and one of my weakest skills is I think is swimming, to, find that security in the water, but also running to conquer the land, to feel the earth under your feet, and to conquer it, and to be able to push your body to a point where you are fit and you are strong and you have the endurance that you need in order to win. And part of it, what a lot of people don't understand is the team spirit that goes along with playing a sport. Getting to know other individuals with the mindset that you have, that, and now people get to make a living out of doing what they love. Playing baseball, basketball, soccer. I mean, I had no idea of the potential. I just knew that I was in school and that I enjoyed what I was doing. And this is fun. And I got medals and trophies. And my parents got to come and cheer me on. And it was just fun. It was rewarding as a young person. And the behaviors and the skills that I learned during that time is what is helping me today to achieve that ultimate goal of training in an Ironman triathlon one day. I know that I am in no ways there. I know that you all are going to encourage me. You can do this, but I'm trying to be realistic, y'all. I'm not ready right now. Okay, I want to do this realistically. I'm not ready. I have tried. I started running, but I am very heavy, and the worst thing that I could do, I think, is to put undue pressure on my joints and on my limbs, and push myself like I truly want to. True weight loss and fitness. I mean, I've never been this heavy in my life, and it is very jarring and it is very upsetting, and I'm just being honest. And anybody who's experiencing a weight issue and you look in the mirror and you see it as part of yourself that you don't recognize, first of all, you're going to think you're lost. I'm lost. I don't know who this person is. I don't know how I got here. But according to doctors, I had a little bit too much fun with the cakes and the cookies. And now, because of medical research and being taken seriously, we now know that there's something wrong with what we call metabolism. That as we get older, it slows down. We're less active. If you're a woman, you've given birth. And some women have that metabolism where they give birth and they don't have complications. Myself, I'm not that lucky. There were complications while I was giving birth to my children. We have health concerns in my family, and my bloodline, and those are things that I have to pay attention to. And I'm just not going to deceive myself into thinking that I can just do something without training, without the proper training, without the proper instruction. Like I'm just going to get up and go out there and do something. No. The first time I embarked on any endeavor, I sought out somebody who was educated enough to be my coach, to be my trainer, to be my instructor. And that's just common sense. It's just common sense that if you want to learn a sport or a skill, that you find someone who is an instructor or a coach in those fields. And that was one of the part of being a young athlete that was so important to staying motivated to compete, is having that somebody there who is experienced, somebody who is willing to teach and coach me in skills and athleticism that I did not have. I mean, I had to learn all these things, people. You had to learn all these things. Anybody who's been an athlete in their lives should know that, that you have to be taught how to play. You have to be taught how to play, and how to play safely and effectively. And that is one of the things that as an adult, those are some of the skills that I I brought with me, you know, when I started my weight loss and my fitness journey, is though that knowledge and education that I learned from my coaches and my trainers, to stay fit. But now that I don't have a sport to compete in, it's not really necessary that I compete in a sport, right? I'm a little older. I haven't taken up any sport as a means of supporting myself or as a means of making a living. So basically, I'm doing this because because I'm motivated to. I'm motivated to. I'm inspired to, and I am absolutely enjoying it, you know. And I'm going to remind myself every day that I want to compete in that Ironman triathlon. I mean, it was when I saw men and women who were competing for athletic excellence. And I mean, when I mean athletic excellence, I mean excellence. You're in the water for 2 hours. You're running for 2 hours. You're biking for 2 hours. Sometimes, I mean, it's basically spaced out over a day, couple of days. But you really, it's a test of your will, and it's a test of your endurance. As an adult, though, you know, young people, I think young people can participate in Ironman or any other triathlon sports, which they do now. You have X Games where young people are competing in motorbikes and skateboarding and things like that. And that's the type of energy that I grew up on, and that's the type of energy that I've entered my weight loss. And I didn't expect to have to do this. I did not expect to have to do this. I thought that I would just be that type of mom where the weight would come off, but the weight did not come off, and I just could not enjoy eating the way my kids did. And I started to gain weight, and the weight was piling on, and so I basically had to say, wait a minute, something's not right. And once you bring 2 lives into the world, that can take a toll on your body. So basically everything has kind of slowed down, but not everything has slowed down, but basically I've had to accommodate now with my eating and my physical exercising in order to stay fit. So wish me well in my journey of becoming a triathlete at my age. But I mean, there's so many wonderful things and miracles that happen in the world, and so many people who set goals for themselves and what we call bucket lists now. But that is definitely on my bucket list. Is to become is to challenge myself to do new things and to develop those habits and behaviors that are going to keep me steadily moving on that path. So I'm going to leave you today. Oh, Fortune. That's my cat. So we are going to leave you today. There take 30 days to break a bad habit. 30 days. Yes, baby. But it also takes 30 days to learn a new, more positive, more productive behavior. Can you say it with me, cat? Can you say it with me? Peace, y'all. Peace. Say good morning. Yes, baby. Peace. Thank you for joining me. Like and subscribe and share with your friends. Anybody else who's on this journey. Peace.